Yo, what's up guys? Last one of the new units, Net 5's Tomoe. Also, same account as I just made the video on the Domo. Thanks for letting me use. And this unit it's not skilled up yet, so we don't have full potential yet. We do have S1 of Burning Soul, like all of them. We have S2 of Karma. Check out the other two videos if you want to have my opinion on Karma. I think it's a really bad skill, and they should up Karma with the following thing. It might be too overpowered, but I think it's actually not that bad because you can still ignore it by just doing S1s. I think Karma should be irresistible, and Karma should be landable on immunity, and Karma should be non-cleansable. Then Karma would be a good skill, and then you could maybe even like up the cooltime by 1 or something. But the thing right now, it's inconsistent by resists. People just ignore it by skill 1. If they want to use another skill, they can. The Karma skill, it brings a unit to 1% HP, it doesn't fully kill. So it does land before any other skill is applied. So for example, if Josephine has a Karma on herself, she uses her S2, she will actually get the damage and then provides the protection. So that is decent. And this Tomoe has a 24% speed lead. So 24% speed lead is pretty nice. But does it always add something to the table? So the third skill is actually pretty good. So it attacks all enemies to increase the duration of harmful effects granted on them by 1 turn, absorbs the attack power of each thing by each harmful effect on the target. So that is pretty cool. It does really fit the meta of Changpong, Okeanos, Ryu, that kind of stuff. So it does really fit that. It also really fits a Gianna and those kind of things. So I think this unit is pretty good. Except for the fact that her S2 is pretty much terrible. Her S2 is just, I don't know, like, it doesn't fit that combination of saying like, hey, I wanna stun them, and then you throw in Karma later, and it's like, yeah, they're gonna ignore it. They can't even move, so they just, Karma does nothing. The S3, however, is pretty nice. The only issue is, like, I talked about this with the owner of this account, and he says like, okay, let's say they ban Okeanos. You have a Ryu strip, you have a Changpong strip, and then you prolong no debuffs, but because there's no debuffs, because you just went for strips, like sure, armor break could be prolonged or anything like that, but what you want to do with this is mainly prolonging stuns. If there's just one stunner on the team, this unit doesn't become that good. You might as well add an Akamamir and actually do damage or that kind of stuff, which would be pretty interesting. One thing I want to test. If you put Tomoe on Despair, would you provide a 2-turn Despair stun? I think that's the most important and interesting thing I can test right now. Besides that, I think it's pretty obvious what she does, what she's good at, where she could be used, and I think we definitely will see her in RTA. Maybe even in arena offense kind of cleaves. Maybe not that much there. But as I also said, for most of these girls that do something like AoE, especially the water one, you want to have as many units on the field because these are really support units. They don't really work that well in Guild Wars because you want to have as many units on the field, therefore as many things can happen. And I think this is one of them as well, because you want to have a stripper, a stunner, probably a second stunner, it could be banned in RTA, that kind of stuff. So I want to see Tomoe on this pair. She's currently not runed up, so I'm gonna rune her up real quick. And then I'm gonna try her in a few arena defenses and just see what we get. Okay, so test case is, can she Despair stun and then prolong that Despair stun right on the same hit? That would be really interesting, and therefore she would be like must bolt on Despair right away. So let's see what happens. So she would prolong like armor breaks in this case. Let's see how the skill actually looks like. Looks pretty dope. Did we Despair stun? We got one Despair stun, but the Despair stun was not prolonged. You can see that the armor break here was prolonged. I think it was resisted on the Praha. This one was stunned but didn't have anything. But it would have been really nice if you gotten like a 2-turn Despair stun with this. Maybe it would have been a little bit OP-ish, but I think that would have been like a scenario where I would say she's pretty good without that much setup like by herself. Also, someone was asking me before, what if you use karma and then you use a unit to do a second time karma? So let's say a Ganymede or a Jemai or anything like that. You just get one karma on it as well. So that's pretty sad. So let's actually look at it that it can prolong stunts just to make sure that she can. Yeah, the unit itself, it's pretty interesting. It's interesting that she absorbs attack bar, but she doesn't have that much of a second turn usefulness stuff because you probably want to prolong stunts in general. And then karma plus a stun doesn't really do too much. Wait, did she? Yeah, she did. Yeah, she prolonged the stun on this, and this one was resisted. So again, we're working with resist, that kind of stuff. So is this too much of a good unit? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think she has her usage, but I think the biggest issue is just her S2. Like, I think her S3, her speed lead is pretty good, but the moment her S2 is something actual useful more than a 2-turn silence, because again, man, 2-turn silence, Poseidon, Triton, they have 2-turn silence, AoE. Iris has a 2-turn silence, but it also strips, and it's a multi-hit, so it actually has a high potential of silencing. This skill, in RTA, it's literally just 2-turn silence. Guys, trust me, like, I've heard like a whole bunch of comments and people say like, but no, I think she's actually good because what if someone uses his skills? Like, yeah, then it's probably more beneficial than losing 50% of your HP. Like, they are allowed to lose it back then. Like, let's say you put it on the Praha and Praha just goes Daydream. Yeah, so what? And Praha wanted to do Daydream anyways. And if Praha didn't want to do Daydream anyways, she would have just S1 twice. And then if she just S1 once and then in the second rotation she thinks like, oh, now I have to do Daydream. Then yeah, Daydream, it can't kill. So the skill always goes off. And therefore it's just, it's not that great of a skill. And a whole bunch of people have been disagreeing with me. But it's one of those units you have to test by yourself to see that it's bad. It's pretty much like the Light Polar Queen. Everyone that does not have the Light Polar Queen is like, oh, this unit is so good. And everyone that does have her agrees with me. I don't have her, but I've played with it. And then it's like, no, it's actually not that great because it's just really difficult to make it work. And with those units, they need a lot of setup. Like, there's a reason why a Dark Ryu is not good. Like, Dark Ryu on paper is like the most crazy unit in the game, right? It prolongs like every debuff. AoE, you can go for like, you have an AoE stun 1 turn, you make AoE 3-turn stuns. It's like insane. But the issue is the setup. You need to AoE strip, you need to AoE stun, you need to land with that thing, you need the speed leads to outspeed them, that kind of stuff. Everything has to be on par and that kind of stuff. And then something is banned out and your whole team is like crashing. So I'm mostly talking about RTA. Sure, in Siege, Guild War offense, even Arena offense, you can totally use all of these units. They can have really good potential, they can be really good. But I'm talking endgame, I'm talking RTA mostly. I'm mostly focused on RTA. That's the thing I would like to see these units shine. And sure, there's some units that would really shine in Arena and they're not good in RTA. Sure, definitely. But these good units are also not really good in Arena. So if they would be really good in Arena, like let's say a Light Chun-Li, insanely good in Arena, I'm not gonna be complaining that she's not good for RTA or something. I don't feel like they really outshine any other unit that much in other stuff. For the Dark one, however, that I made the previous video on, I think she does outshine somewhat in Siege and Guild War. But again, resists really hurt those kind of units. So therefore, that's my showcase. That's pretty much the only thing I wanted to test on Tomoe. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If there's anything you would recommend me to test, I can test it. Probably not gonna make another video on it, but I can just like write the results and that kind of stuff on it. But it would be really nice if the Despair stun would have hit before this thing hits. I kind of expected it not to, but it would have been nice if it would have. So that's it for this video. Seiishizo here. See you in the next one.